Hello and welcome to my sixth O-scale layout construction video. We start off here with the backdrop material. We've gone ahead and added some additional backdrop. This is showing the original masonite, which is screwed to the studs, and in the seams is held together with super glue and smoothed out with some joint compound to get everything level. Now typically this would be ready to go for vinyl. But I made a mistake and painted in the scene one, so all the material we ordered had to be used over paint, which is a porous kind of a cloth material. I'm not sure what it's called, but that's okay. We went ahead and painted. For those that might be curious, this is Home Depot paint. It's excuse me, it's Bear, and the color is Utah Sky. And we just did a partial. I wanted to do scene what I call scene 2 and scene 3. This is showing part into scene 4, which is incomplete, but that's okay. I haven't finished the backdrop there yet. And you can see here the paint is still wet. So after it was dry, then we went ahead and started applying the backdrop material, which then this particular scene is in two pieces. You might be able to see the overlap in there, but after time, you don't really notice that. You don't really notice the overlap, which is about 3/8 of an inch wide. It's not very wide. It's best to be this way because if not, it would be too big of sheets to handle. It needs to be broke up into smaller sections. But again, having the blue behind it really helps the sky, the color, to really come through versus it being on the brown material. It made it a little duller looking, so that helped quite a bit. Now I bring this this photo in. This is an older photo that shows the original entrance to the staging yard on the north, and the curves are going in, and showing some of the track work that's in place. And there's a reason for this, and I'm going to show you a change I made in the track layout, on the staging that is. And here it is now starting to go along the east wall headed south, little by little. And so that we could run some trains, I had one track 5, I believe it is, completed. So it ran all the way down to the south and then clear around to the west under the reversing loop. And we ran it that way for quite a while, just kind of have some fun with it here and there. And here it comes into track 5, into the 4-way switch, which teams down to a single track, and then it splits into a number 6 right hand. And then if you can see it, this picture goes off to the right to the reversing loop, which is fairly long. You can see that, I believe it is, in video number 3. And we carried on this way. Here we go. This is showing a little bit of overhead that shows some of the reversing loop, but you can see more of it in number 3. It is where it's a little more revealed. You can see it, but it's meant to be hidden. It's not going to have any scenery on it. It's just meant to be a reversing loop at the other end of the staging yard. So then I carried on, finishing up the 8 tracks, using mostly Gargray's track here, some used track. Doesn't really matter, but it's all in decent shape. Maybe a little discoloration in the tires, no problem. And Ross switches again. So I got a 4-way. I've got most of the switches here are regulars. 100, 110, I believe, are the numbers. Great switches. And into the curve. A little tight here, so I had to work with the radius a little bit to jockey around some of the poles, the support legs, since we changed the position of this 4-way. And again, some different angles. And pretty soon, of course, well, actually through this process, and we would do it, we would test, run some test cars through it, and eventually run some trains through there to see how well it works. This is before any of the finished wiring is in place, but here we go. We got a couple locomotives we run through there, and run a few freight trains, some passenger service, etc. Some of our bigger cars, like these locomotives here, and they have some 21-inch passenger coaches. I want to check with our tallest cars, our biggest cars, etc. Longest cars, I should say. See how everything goes through. Even some steam engines, things like that, to find out, because especially steam engines, if there's any flaws, boy, they'll show up. So you want to have everything in good shape. So this is a close-up shot of the 4-way and the number 6 switch. And we decided, no, we didn't really like it. I mean, things worked okay. The switches are good, but It's an idea my dad had was to split instead of it teaming down to a single track, we would actually have it come down so it would be two separate tracks instead. So out with the four-way, unfortunately. It's a great switch. And replace it with a pair of regular switches. Excuse me. And here we go. This is in place. Kind of a plethora of tools around here to make this happen, but everything has to be custom fit, you know, to make it work. And here's some of the finished shots now, how it teams together there. So tracks 4 and tracks 5 now are independent. So basically split the yard is what it did. But we found overall this worked really well, and everything ran so smooth through this. Not that it didn't before, like I say, but it also allowed us to have longer trains, was the other thing through the reversing loop. Not that our trains are huge, but per se, but we sometimes like to run long length of trains. So some overhead shots, again, all regular switches except for the track, or sorry, the switch that goes to 7 and 8 is a number 8 left hand. So in this scene, I wanted to show some LED lighting that we installed. We installed that at the very lower level, and also on the second level. Helps out quite a bit because later we'll be able to see as well because it'll be hidden by the upper side. And then skipping over to the opposite end of the layout here, I wanted to show the semi-helix. And I don't think I mentioned this in the previous video, but I added super elevation, or designed it with super elevation, which is already made into the design. So I could have done that with a Korg road bed, but I went ahead and did it with the actual the support pylons. And super elevation you'd find on real railroads where it has a bit of like a 3-degree slant to it. I think this might be even closer to 5-degree. So that way when the cars go through the curves, they do so more with ease, with less drag. And I think I show a little bit of painting on this too. We painted the supports black and then the table gray. Still needs to be some some styrofoam first, and then some Korg added to the road bed. But at this point, again, we're still, at least this point in the video, we're still trying to get a sense for it. This shot has actually been a while back, so there's actually been more progress since then. And as soon as I can, I'll get some more videos out to you. This shows the 3 levels, down at the lowest, coming up to the center and up to the top. The inside radius is 88, and it goes to 96 and 104 for largest radius. This is all Ross track, primarily Ross on the mains and Ross switches. And then sidings and other areas where I needed special curves are all Gargraves. So this scene just depicts our Northern in action here. I finally get a little motion video for you. Perhaps not prototypical, but it tests the length of our Northern with also some double stack Amtrak cars going down to the staging. So this is up from the middle section down to staging, which is quite an elevation here actually. We're a little nervous about this, thought maybe we might have to make a full helix, but it works on a semi-helix. This is kind of a precursor to our next video, which shows some of the wiring. The lower spool is the yellow, which is the 16 gauge stranded speaker wire, which I highly recommend. Speaker wire, by the way, not lamp cord or any of that stuff, but speaker wire. Works very well with DCS and TMCC if that's what you're planning to put in. This 18.2 gauge is solid, and I used it to go from the control panel here, which is the beginning of this, to each switch motor, which are all DC operation. I'll cover that in the next video. We'll show you that. It's actually already complete. These videos are a little bit older, but shows some of the drawing of it, which has colored LEDs for the turnouts and also colored LEDs to show location of trains. Just like I kind of remember seeing that as a boy, going to see control panels, and you could show trains in motion. In closing here, I've got a little Climax Shay I want to show you, and I'll stop talking for a moment. Well, thanks so much for watching. In this last shot here, this is a T-shirt we had made up that depicts the name of the railroad, which is Almardy Junction. It's kind of a fun thing, and the name is made up from myself and my two sisters. Thought I'd share that with you. Thanks again for watching. We sure do appreciate it, and hope to get some videos out to you a little quicker next time.